Чик, хуяк, лежит нахуй, остыл.
Whoa! I thought I saw a bear. Dang, he's stuck, I think.
Not every adventure in the wild stays peaceful for long. A woman van camping suddenly realizes someone may be watching her, while a simple ice water ritual ends with a mother vanishing beneath the surface forever. When ordinary moments turn dangerous without warning, how fast would you react? In June 2024, Tanya and Dave, known from the YouTube channel Let's Turn It Up World, were leaving a campground in Lone Pine, California. They intended to drive roughly 4 hours toward Nevada and stay for the night in an abandoned hotel parking lot where free overnight parking seemed to be allowed.
We're leaving this beautiful, beautiful campground today here. Actually, have done our fair share of truck stops and, you know, spots where it's free, overnight camping, boondocking, which is something we really enjoy doing. When you have long drives, it's a great way to stop and rejuvenate. We're here in Lone Pine, California, but we're heading towards Nevada, and we're gonna be camping at a abandoned hotel parking lot. We should be able to camp there, no problem. So we're gonna just pack up here, get out there, and the plan is to take that abandoned hotel parking lot and turn it into a 5-star resort.
After they got there, the abandoned hotel was actually Buffalo Bill's, a casino property, with a shuttered amusement park close by. They spoke with security and were informed they could remain overnight, provided they did not extend any slides at all. Because their van had no slides, the place appeared usable for them that night. Then later on, the atmosphere changed.
So right off this exit, we're heading back to this spot, which is Buffalo Bill's. It's a parking lot, hotel, park, casino over that direction. Look at that. That's where we might be able to call home tonight. We'll find out after we pick up our donuts. But that is pretty darn cool. I wonder if it's working. Pink Box Donuts. Oh, it's tied. Okay, it's tied to the Prim Center. That's interesting. So I ended up getting six of those donuts. You know what happens is when they get a pair of 6, you get a discount on those. So we're getting 6. All right, so it's the parking situation. Here we go. Trying to get the most of the balance that we can. Okay. This is what we're calling home for the night. We got the okay. Spoke with a security guard who said it's perfectly okay. As long as we don't put any slides out, and we don't have slides. So we're in good shape. Maybe what we'll do is before cooking dinner, maybe explore these grounds. There's a huge amusement park over there. Not sure if it's open. Haven't seen anything coming around. Haven't seen a roller coaster come around yet, but pretty wide open here. It almost looks abandoned.
A man approached their van and wanted to know if they were veterans. The question felt random and strange, and it made the situation uncomfortable right away.
Guy right there is just like randomly came up to us and asked if we were first person was veterans, and now he's driving around the parking lot. So I let the security guards know, but he's out there just hovering around the parking lot. Oh man, that's a little unsettling.
It's crazy. I know it is. The guy's racing around the parking lot.
Racing. So I just turned the lights off. Hold on, let's close this up. I gotta finish with a meal. There's a black car. Feels a little weird as well, just kind of sitting there. Oh gosh, that is the same one that was there earlier. The Ford that was there earlier that also kind of circled by. Black Ford Explorer. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm just
we're gonna move it on.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have dinner.
I think we're gonna move it on.
We're gonna move it on.
We
ready?
Oh yeah,
all right.
We're gonna move it on. Yeah, no, this has been actually a really scary situation. We have what seems to be some cars that have been, it seems like almost casing the van. They've driven by slowly a number of times, left, and then just came back with a van. Yeah. And they both came back and parked in the same spot right nearby us, just like turned off the car and are just sitting there.
Maybe it's the bikes, I don't know, not very comfortable. It's kind of a new spot, and normally we're not necessarily like...
Yeah, we're nervous about our bikes, well, everything actually.
Yeah, and so dinner, we're going to pack up, we're going to head to another truck stop a little bit of ways. Dave was looking up one, so... So we're out of here. Let's see, there's the van. Yep, and then there's the Black Explorer right next to them.
Yeah, they came back and
they
just
came
sat
back.
there.
Alright, so I'm gonna make a right. I was uncomfortable. I'm just watching to see if they leave.
They're gonna try to follow us out. I don't see the van moving.
Oh, okay. Alright, we are rolling on.
Moving on. Next stop. When you had the, the Explorer pull back in slowly, almost like they were looking at something. Maybe it was our bikes. Who knows what it was. And then they came back together now with this white van. And this time they came back with a white van with like very few windows. Looked like a perfect thing to actually put, say, bikes in it. So after you had that person come by and ask you the question about, are you in the former military and all that.
That was weird. I was like, oh my goodness gracious, and that kind of triggered it. So we mentioned this to security, and the security guard actually saw him the next time he came back. And then he comes to the front, he said, oh, I spoke to them, and it seemed like he might have been a little off or a little mental or on something. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's not a good feeling.
We've stayed in a lot of truck stops, casino parking lots. This is really the first time we've been really spooked out.
In a setting like that, one odd encounter was enough to make them watch their surroundings much more carefully. For people traveling by van, awareness is not the same as paranoia. It means reading patterns. One person passing through may not matter, but repeated loops, vehicles hanging around, or unusual questions can quickly make an ordinary parking area feel unsafe. When your bed is inside, the vehicle leaving early is often the safest option. Certain overnight parking places can seem totally normal in daylight, yet feel completely different once it gets dark. In this situation, the issue was not only the place itself, it was the sense that something was wrong, and that concern continued building. For van lifers and travelers, trusting that instinct can matter more than waiting for proof. Maybe it was just an awkward stranger and poor timing in the wrong parking lot. But when a quiet overnight stop suddenly begins to feel watched, most people would rather give up a camping spot than gamble by staying too long. Would you have remained there? Or would you have left as soon as things felt wrong? On May 15th, 2025, the YouTube channel Mimi Gets Around released a video about Mimi, a woman who had always been drawn to the outdoors. She loved it so much that she left her former life in North Carolina, moved into a camper van, and began waking up somewhere new almost every morning. Her channel is centered on that kind of freedom life on the road, staying off grid, and spending as much time as possible in wild places. But when someone spends enough time away from towns and busy roads, unexpected things can still happen. On this day, Mimi was parked inside a remote forest campsite miles from the nearest town. She was not searching for anything dramatic at all. She simply wanted a quiet day on her own. She woke up, slowly got ready, and stepped outside for a walk to clear her mind and move around a little. The area around her was calm and open, the kind of place where a person could easily feel cut off from the rest of the world.
Good morning. I slept so hard.
I'm gonna go get my steps in. Ooh. I moved just a little bit so I can get some more sun. I don't know what got me yesterday, but something got me. You can almost see it. Look at that. You see how it's kind of swollen? It hurts real bad. The farther you come over this, oh, you can see so far. I have to zoom in with the... And it did rain for a little while. Made for a wonderful lazy day. I'm gonna see if I can make it a little farther this time. I don't know why I'm so freaked out. I feel like, what if it's a driveway or something? And I'm gonna keep going, but...
Her plan for the day was simple. She wanted to cook a few hot dogs over an open fire, sit near the flames, and enjoy the silence around her campsite. So she started the fire and settled in for what appeared to be a peaceful afternoon.
In there like that, yeah. Ooh, now it's cooking. All right, let's see if this is better than yesterday. I'm feeling it's not gonna be that drastically different. It's just heating up a hot dog, but you know what, maybe it will be. Maybe it'll be the most delicious hot dog ever in the history of time. It's way better. It's way better than charred wieners.
But just as Mimi was eating and relaxing beside the fire, she heard something unusual. A vehicle was coming toward her campsite in the middle of nowhere. The sudden noise broke through the quiet, and a normal afternoon changed immediately.
How you doing?
I'm a little lost, and I'm hoping maybe you can kind of help me.
Yeah, what's up?
So my kid, he's 20, but was hiking around the Linville Gorge, and this is telling me to turn here, which doesn't look like a thing,
yeah, no.
to get to his can.
Well, I'm assuming he did a trail, right? Like a marked trail.
Yeah, but he said he was like on the side of a road and he's throwing up. I just drove from Raleigh
Oh, dang.
in my work clothes.
Oh my gosh, so you really are?
Yeah, I was like, I'll be right there.
Oh God, yeah, that's far. Okay. I guess he doesn't know anyone out this way that would have something.
So he traveled up here by himself.
Oh.
I thought he'd be all like crazy.
Well, we've got quite the situation. Apparently, down that road that I was just walking down, her son is very sick and needs her to come get him, but she can't get past the gate. And there's no other entrance way because I just hooked up my Starlink to see. So she's calling 911 now to see if they can come help.
We really don't necessarily. We're going to have a bunch of rescuers coming in.
My son.
Is that your son?
So where do you want me to move? Okay.
How far is
The map says walk pit, so there's going to be the new walk pit that he's on, probably about 2 miles total in from the gate.
All right, EMS and emergency services are coming out. They're gonna go get him. He's about 3 miles down the road. Well, we're thinking this guy has the key to unlock the gate, so we wouldn't need EMS services because she can go get him, but this guy's apparently really sick down there. He's been hiking for maybe 2 days. And he was gonna set up camp about 2 more miles down, but then he started getting real sick and throwing up a lot. This night's about to get a little bit crazy up in here. I hope he's okay. They're all kind of leaving right now. Bye-bye. Have a nice evening.
Eventually, the situation became clear. A woman was looking for her son, who was somewhere down the road and had become very sick while hiking. Emergency services were called, and after some time, they were able to find him. Thankfully, the woman's son turned out to be okay. But it is hard not to wonder what could have happened if he had been badly injured farther from the road or unable to contact anyone at all. When camping alone, sharing your location matters. In remote areas, signal can disappear fast, and a small problem can become serious. That is why many hikers carry a tracker or tell someone exactly where they are going. Mimi's quiet afternoon was interrupted, and he got another chance. Both of them were probably luckier than they realized in that moment. This story reveals the rougher side of van life. Not the scenery, not the freedom, but the moments when a single odd sound can wreck a whole night. In May 2023, YouTuber Dan from Dan's Van Life was returning to the road after spending 6 months in Iowa, healing from shoulder surgery. On his first day back out, he left Iowa and kept driving into Nebraska. By evening, the long day was beginning to wear on him. He had been up since 4 a.m. in the morning, and tiredness was taking over. Later, he located a camping spot just off the highway beside a pond with trails surrounding it. Staying near a highway is convenient, but it can feel exposed after dark. Passing vehicles, wildlife, or little noises outside can seem much louder when you're trying to sleep.
Nebraska seems to drag on forever and ever when you're driving through that state lengthwise. I saw a camping spot on I-Overlander that was just barely off the highway, and it looked like it was really near a cool pond with some trails all around it. After a full day of driving through the flatlands from Iowa into Nebraska, we were both ready to pull over and call it a night. Stay. Cassie, stay. Come here. Let's turn the lights on it. I swear I just saw a set of eyes over there. I swear I just saw a reflection. Oh man, we're not gonna get spooked.
Later that night, as Dan was trying to fall asleep, he heard something behind the van. It didn't sound like normal background noise.
What's going on, bud? So I just woke up to the noise of something rutting around outside the van. I don't know if it was somebody fucking with the back door handle or if it was just somebody bumping against the van. But we are parked somewhere that there should be no one near the van. And then I heard a loud belch. I got up and grabbed my safety device, and I haven't heard anything since. And that's when I realized somebody's trying to break into the van. I can hear somebody tugging on the door handle, and I am out in the middle of nowhere. And by this point in the day, I'm just irritated that my night's sleep is now going to be completely ruined, not only by the bed bugs and ticks, but by some Jimmy trying to break into the van. Normal person probably would have got up and drove to a new parking spot at that time, but I just truly had not one fuck left to give, so we tried to go back to sleep.
Something was moving near the rear door in a spot where nothing should have been moving around the vehicle. A campsite that felt useful earlier can suddenly feel unsafe once the lights are off, and the only thing separating you from whatever's outside is the van door. Maybe the noise was not anything truly serious, but when something moves near your back door in the middle of the night, how long would you stay before deciding it was finally time to go? The next case comes from the frozen edge of the Ordesia River near Veras, a small village south of St. Petersburg, Russia. It happened during the yearly Orthodox Epiphany tradition, a ritual where participants enter freezing water to honor the baptism of Jesus Christ, practiced as both a spiritual act and a test of endurance in extreme cold. Among those, there was Anna Uskov, a 40-year-old lawyer and mother of 2. She stepped forward just as many others had that day, taking part in a ceremony repeated for generations. Witnesses nearby, including her own children, watched as she carefully entered an opening cut into the ice. The air was freezing. Beneath the surface, the current was moving faster than anyone standing nearby could recognize. For a brief moment, everything followed the ritual as expected. Then it didn't. Within seconds, she lost control in the water and was dragged under. The calm of the ceremony broke instantly. Her children called for help. Her husband entered the river after her. But the water was near freezing, the current was strong, and nothing worked in time. The scene along the riverbank became chaotic quickly. Bystanders tried helping, but the same ice that created the ritual space now blocked access and reduced visibility. There was little anyone could safely do before she disappeared beneath the surface. Footage spread online soon after capturing the moment the ceremony turned into panic, people gathering around the opening and the ice movement becoming frantic as she went under. Emergency responders were called, but when divers arrived, conditions made the search extremely difficult.
Все, поехали потихоньку. Проверка связи сразу. Налево, направо крутись, вправо, через правое плечо крутись.
Давно не обеспечила.
Currents beneath the ice reduced visibility to almost nothing. Authorities later stated that the opening had been cut in a particularly dangerous part of the river, an area already known locally for unpredictable water movement and previous drownings even outside winter. Officials described it as one of the most hazardous stretches in the region, where currents can carry objects far from where they first entered. Despite repeated diving attempts and an extensive search, Anna Uskov was never found. The river gave nothing back, and no clear trace was ever recovered. The case remains one of the most referenced examples of how quickly a structured winter ritual can collapse and how little time exists to react when it happens. Her disappearance has never been fully explained. Some environments leave no room for mistakes and no way to reverse what happens once conditions take control. What do you think is harder to accept, that the danger was already there before anyone entered, or that there was no way to know? On January 11th, 2022, a road crew was following their regular route, clearing a quiet rural road after a night of heavy snowfall. The job was routine. The workers had settled into the familiar rhythm of winter maintenance. Nothing unusual, nothing to prepare them for what came next. Then the plow pushed through a thick layer of packed ice, and something underneath brought everything to a stop. From a distance, it looked like a pile of winter clothing left along the roadside. But as the workers got closer, the shape didn't match that idea. It wasn't abandoned clothing. It was a man frozen solid, lying half buried in the snow.
Оп, чик, хуяк, лежит нахуй, остыл, не дошел нахуй. И вся дела нахуй. Он скреб куда-то, решил тут прилечь нахуй.
What made the discovery even harder to understand was the ground around him. The fresh snow was completely untouched. The surface looked smooth in every direction, as if he had simply been there the whole time without arriving. He was dressed for the cold, but the cold took him anyway. The workers stepped back and contacted authorities. No footprints, no context, nothing that explained how a man ended up frozen in the middle of a cleared road, with no sign of how he got there. This footage still remains online, a still silent image of someone whose last hours left nothing behind. Cases like this leave questions that are not always answered about how someone ends up somewhere with no visible path leading there. What do you think happened before that road crew arrived? On December 25th, 2025, the Sargi family uploaded a video from their remote cabin property where the channel often documents daily projects, land maintenance, and survival preparation out in the woods. The video begins with the group already busy with outdoor work, treating the land less like an ordinary backyard and more like a place that constantly needs to be cleared, maintained, and kept under control. They begin by widening the access road, cutting deeper into the forest, so the cabin can still be reached before winter fully settles in. Fallen trees are pulled away, with a winch block sections are cleared, and for a short time the property feels open once again. But as snow begins building up, the work starts becoming more defensive. Plowing begins, early firewood is stacked, and tools are checked between each task. Everything slowly shifts into holding the line before the weather completely takes over. Then something interrupts the normal routine. A trail camera near the tree line captures movement that does not match the usual silence. At first it looks like only a figure standing near the edge of the woods, easy to overlook. But after the footage is reviewed, it becomes clear that a man with a dog steps into view and stops just before the open area. He doesn't continue walking forward. Instead, he appears for a brief moment and disappears almost as quickly. In a quiet place like this, where there's almost nothing around for miles except forest and a cabin, the moment feels wrong. He's not moving like someone who is lost or simply passing through. He remains near the bushes as if watching the property, checking it, and then hiding the second he feels exposed. The dog stays close, but the man's attention seems to remain fixed on the cabin. Later, the creator reviews the footage several times, trying to understand exactly what he captured. He looks around the property, checks the nearby area, and goes back through the camera angles. But nothing explains it. There are no tracks, no follow-up signs, and no clear reason why someone would stop there, hide watch, and then disappear completely. In a place where almost nothing moves, without a reason, that kind of behavior does not feel easy to ignore. It may have been harmless, but the way he stopped and disappeared makes it difficult to see it that simply. If someone appeared like that near your cabin, would you wait for answers or leave before dark? She thought it would be just another quiet night in the forest, cooking inside her car with nothing but silence surrounding her. But as the rain began falling, the road disappeared, and the storm started closing in. She realized she may have stayed too long. The next unsettling video comes from Claire on the Road, a US-based travel and car camping channel, documenting life on the road, exploring new places, and facing the real challenges of living out of a small vehicle, often turning into a real camping encounter. It is October 4th, 2025, in a forested area in the United States. Before settling in, Claire reflects on a previous encounter at another campsite where a van driver acted unpredictably. That memory stays with her as she leaves the city and heads toward a more remote forest location. After arriving, she carefully checks the terrain, rocky ground, wet conditions, and no phone signal, all of which create early concerns about safety and accessibility.
A nice little roundabout. I don't have to stress. There's nobody around. It's giving me instant relief from being in the city. I was deliberating off camera for a little while about whether I should stay or if I should go. I did catch a weather forecast on the radio. It is going to be raining tomorrow morning early, like after dawn. I think I can make this work as long as I'm out of here before dawn.
With no proper area to cook outside, she prepares food inside the car using a gas stove. She closely monitors ventilation and CO2 levels while managing the limited space. As she cooks and feeds her dog, Parker mosquitoes and the cramped setup make even simple tasks harder. The quiet forest around her feels peaceful, but the isolation is still noticeable.
So, I'm not gonna burden you with all of this. I'm gonna take care of it with some food grade wet wipes. Even if it is slightly creepy out here, my opinion, it is more peaceful than creepy, but it's also not dark yet.
As evening gets closer, she takes Parker for a walk through the surrounding marshy woodland. The environment seems calm, but she remains alert to wildlife and the lack of nearby help.
I'll take it over a Walmart parking lot for a change. That's the kind of mosquitoes that you're not gonna get with, but it just gets to a point where you can't do anything, but not tonight, so we're just gonna hunker down. Oh my goodness, what in the world? Okay, I did not think that it was supposed to rain right now.
Rain begins unexpectedly and quickly grows heavier. Water starts collecting around the campsite, raising concerns about flooding. She adjusts her setup inside the car and begins preparing for the possibility of needing to leave. The changing conditions shift the mood from calm to cautious.
These at night, I just have these for comfort during the day, and like that one I put over there. And I have my extension, which is this tent. It's usually higher. Might have to add something. I'll put my jeans under it. I have like all this space, lots more space. A lot of you seem kind of like confused. I can understand that because during the day when I'm not sleeping, I have this stuff like all moved forward. But when I go to sleep,
the situation intensifies as lightning becomes more frequent and stronger. Recognizing the risk, Claire decides to leave immediately. She drives through dark, slippery roads while staying alert for hazards. Deer appear along the route and signs of storm damage become visible. At one point, she accidentally crosses into another state, adding confusion to an already stressful situation. Severe thunderstorm warnings confirm the danger, reinforcing that leaving was the right decision in this camping encounter. Eventually, she reaches a rest area where other car campers are present, providing a sense of safety and relief. The experience shows how quickly conditions can change when camping in remote environments, from uncertain terrain to severe weather. The night becomes a test of preparation and decision-making. Sometimes a camping encounter does not begin with danger. It builds slowly as conditions begin changing. If you notice things getting worse step by step like this, would you leave early or wait too long to react? Outdoor Adventures is a backpacking and wilderness exploration channel, run by Frozen, usually focused on multi-day hikes and finding quiet campsites along the trail. On July 5th, 2018, he uploaded a video documenting his Quahana Trail trek in north-central Pennsylvania, but one moment from the first night created a small mystery that he never noticed until a viewer pointed it out, turning it into a subtle camping encounter. The video continues as he is finishing camp for the night. He had just completed his chores, settled near his hammock, and was getting ready to rest. Everything seemed normal until a viewer mentioned noticing something moving behind him. At a specific timestamp, Frozen went back and reviewed it, noticing for the first time something moving through the brush, only a few feet behind his campsite, making it a quiet but unsettling camping encounter.
I was camped in a pretty thick brush on night one, and I'm pretty sure I would have heard an animal coming through that brush.
A good day too. I don't have to really worry about doing 20 miles tomorrow because we did 4 extra miles today.
In the footage, it appears to be a large animal, possibly a deer, followed by a smaller one. Frozen explains the campsite setup for context: 2 trees supporting his hammock, positioned slightly to the rear right, facing toward the thick brush.
But here you can see the campsite, the 2 trees that I'm attached to. I'm to the right of my hammock, pretty much touching my left hand on the right tree in this screen. The camera was facing me and my back was facing the brush in this shot. I more than likely would have heard it.
With that setup, he should have heard anything moving nearby, but he didn't. Frozen suggested the unknown movement could have been a deer, or maybe even a coyote, but the speed and complete lack of sound make it unusual. Even during a normal camping encounter, something moving that close without making noise feels different. Sometimes it is not what you see, but what you do not hear that makes something feel wrong, especially in a camping encounter where something passes directly behind you without a sound. If that happened to you, would you stay or leave? The next intense footage of the night comes from Sydney, a solo travel and camping creator based in the US who documents immersive outdoor adventures, stealth camping, and real-life survival experiences on the road, often leading to a tense camping situation. It is July 29th, 2025, at a remote riverside campsite in Montana, United States. Sydney begins her day in Missoula, finishing a few errands before driving toward a free campsite beside the river. She already knows the area is located in grizzly territory, which immediately makes the decision to camp there feel more serious, setting the tone for a potentially dangerous camping situation. After arriving, she checks the campsite, noticing the fire pit, picnic table, and nearby river, while also spotting a few fishermen farther away.
This campsite has the vibe of a grizzly is going to come out of the bushes any second. Probably go get my bear spray, huh? I should have done that the second I got here. Bear spray acquired. Got my bear spray.
While preparing food, she suddenly sees something large moving through the water. Its size alone causes immediate concern. Expecting the worst, she secures her vehicle and carefully moves closer to investigate. The figure is eventually revealed to be a stranded black cow.
Are you out there? I slept so bad last night. A bear was going to try to break in my car to get to this soap because it's scented, it's super scented. But by the time I realized this, it was already 11 and really dark out. I was like, I'm just gonna hope and pray that a bear doesn't come. Also, I didn't finish my video last night because I felt like throwing up around like 10 p.m. I don't know what made me feel that way, but I feel a lot better now. I would like to get out of this scary, so I'm about to hit the road.
The following day, she drives deeper into remote wilderness toward another campsite. The roads are narrow and winding, surrounded by thick forest. From the initial uneasiness to a restless night and cautious driving the next day, Sydney's journey shows both the mental and physical challenge of being alone in this kind of environment. Sometimes nothing really happens, but simply feeling that something could happen at any second is enough to change everything. If a camping situation like this kept you tense all night, would you stay or leave before anything goes wrong? 2 years ago, the channel Secret Path of Knowledge went on a spontaneous solo stealth camping trip, planning to spend the night in a tent deep in the forest. The day was calm, with light snow crunching beneath his feet and tall trees standing motionless all around him. He found a small clearing, set up his tent, and gathered logs for a fire, creating a small pocket of warmth in the cold, empty woods, the kind of setting where a quiet camping encounter can begin without warning. Once the fire was going, he prepared a simple meal, the glow cutting through the early evening darkness. At first it felt peaceful, that rare kind of calm you feel when you're completely alone and the world seems to slow down around you. But as night arrived, the forest began to change. The temperature dropped to -7 degrees Celsius, and the cold made the tent feel thin and exposed. He moved closer to the fire, letting the warmth push back the freezing air, not realizing the silence around him was about to break. Then something terrifying happened. Sharp screams echoed through the trees, sudden and intense, breaking the stillness.
Телефон было слышно или нет? Это, наверное, лиса. Я впервые такой звук. Я не знаю, было ли слышно на телефон. Я не успел камеру достать. Хорошо, хоть на телефоне что-то записал.
Footsteps crunched through the light snow, too close to ignore, and his heart immediately began racing. Quietly, he spoke to the camera, describing what he heard, while trying to remain calm. He stepped back inside the tent, but did not fully block out the outside. Through small openings in the fabric, he looked out, watching shadows move against the firelight. Every howl and every movement made the back of his neck tighten. The darkness closed in from every direction, and every motion through the trees felt deliberate, almost like something was watching him. Solo trips like this, he realized, carry their own risks, and sometimes the forest holds onto its stories long after the fire burns out. Sometimes the sounds are not the scariest part, it is how close they feel without ever seeing anything clearly in a camping encounter. If something stayed just outside your tent like this, would you stay inside or leave immediately? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story, share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.